training us and actually giving us opportunity to study and share our realization on the Bhagavad Gita verses. So today we are studying Bhagavad Gita verse chapter 13, verse 28.
Hare, but Prabhuji, we can't hear you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can you hear me now?
It's okay. It's okay.
Hare Krishna? Okay. Samam sarve Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vina tasva vinashantam yaha pashyati sa pashyati. Jagatguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Forward to Silo synonyms, translation and purport. Samam, equally, sarveshu, in all, bhuteshu, living entities, tishtantam, residing, param ishwaram, the super soul, vinashatsu, in the destructible, avinashantam, not destroyed. Yaha, anyone who, pashyati, sees, saha, he, pashyati, actually sees. Equally in all living entities residing, the super soul, in the destructible, not destroyed. Anyone who sees, he actually sees. Translation. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Purport. Anyone who, by good association, can see three things combined together: the body, the proprietor of the body, or the individual soul, and the pain of the individual soul is actually in knowledge. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. Those who do not have such association are ignorant. They simply see the body and they think that when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. But actually, it is not so. After the destruction of the body, both the soul and the super soul exist. And they go on eternally in many various moving and non-moving forms. The Sanskrit word Parameshwar is sometimes translated as the individual soul because the soul is the master. They are not destroyed. One who can see in this way can actually see what is happening. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this verse, actually, the Krishna is saying that one who sees, actually the body, the owner of the body, that is the soul, and the super soul, all together. No? Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the purport. That's one who sees these three things combined together is actually in knowledge. And another important point here is that unless one has the association of a real knower of a spiritual subject, one cannot see these three things. So yes, actually, I was meditating on these points. So because actually we have been actually studying this subject matter for many years. So when I read the translation, actually this knowledge seems quite basic. So, however, for the newcomer, actually one who has not studied Bhagavad Gita or one who has not come into the association of the devotees of the spiritual master. So this knowledge is actually most of the time it is absent, and I have actually experienced that actually. So whenever I actually got opportunity to talk to the new people, especially in India, even actually, a lot of Indian people claim to know the Atma and body and everything, the past life, the future life. However, most of them actually fail to understand what Paramatma is, and most of them also couldn't able to actually properly describe what happens after the death. They think, oh, there is a rebirth, but how that rebirth happens and what kind of body we get or what species we born in. So they don't have all the knowledge. So they hear here and there from someone. So they got a fragmented knowledge. So important thing is that for me, actually, how I actually uh, came in contact with the Hare Krishna weekend, and I got attracted by knowledge, listening to Prabhuji at the first time. So, so the Srila Prabhupada says, actually mentioned this very important point that unless one who has the association of a real knower of the spiritual subjects, so actually approaching the spiritual master, or you should be fortunate enough to come in contact with the spiritual master is very, very important. Because if you do not have this actually knowledge that actually the soul and super soul exist within your body, and even after the actually the death, so that's the destruction of this physical body. Actually, this is not the end. You know, the soul again actually reincarnate maybe in another species or another body, or it is actually achieved his ultimate goal of going back to Godhead. He returns to the actually the spiritual abode. Then for them, most of them actually, when I talk this, most of the Western people who are actually normally atheistic, they do not have any faith in the God or actually the philosophy of a God. They always say that, oh, actually, once you die, you die. You become a worm food. There's nothing, and that's actually what drives actually the way they lead their life. And it was very true for myself as well. So even we know that actually there was Atma. Even actually before I come in contact with Hare Krishna philosophy, I knew that there was Atma and there is a rebirth. So what I learned in Jainism. So at least I had some actually background. But actually, for one who has no knowledge at all of these three things, especially the super soul and soul, they lead the life. They want to enjoy the life to the fullest. There are no rules, regulation. They want to exploit everything that come in their way. So there is no fear of any karma coming back, or actually they do not know why they are suffering or they will suffer as per the actually action they perform in this life. So for them, actually, it's the life actually, the way they lead, it will eventually end up in an ultimate destruction. Yes, they will die. They will actually maybe degrade themselves to some animal species or whatever species they will born in. So this point actually what Srila Prabhupada says that one has to actually come into the association of a real knowledge of spiritual subject matter is very, very important point. So actually once you know this, then at least there is one who introspect. So there is some actually drive that one has to actually one will think one will think before they act. Even they're not following the philosophy, at least they will be fearful of what they are doing. So this knowledge actually is very important. And when I read this verse, I also remember this verse actually, Vidya Vinaya Sampani, Brahmani Gavi Hastini, Suni 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 Kecha Suni Suni Cheva Supa Kecha, Pandita Samdarshan. So here that is said that actually the sage, the learned Brahmana, or the one who is actually in knowledge, he do not make any differentiation between actually the Brahmana or the outcast, the elephant, dog, or the dog eater. So he do not make any distinction between the actually what kind of actually body you possess or in what caste you are born in, or he do not make any differentiation between different species as well. He only sees that there is actually soul inside the each body, and there is a super soul. So Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport that person is actually in real knowledge. So we're talking about these are the symptoms of the Mahabhagavatam. So who do not actually distinguish between different species or different human beings, irrespective of their material position. So obviously, the way I see it, there is a definitely difference between Brahman and outcast. So we see that difference. However, for that actually Mahabhagavad, he only sees the soul within the body. So yes, actually this knowledge is definitely very, very important for the beginner, even for the devotee, actually who get to this stage of actually Mahabhagavad, then actually Srila Prabhupada says that that person is actually in real knowledge. So this is actually the realization I actually derived while studying this uh, verse, and also this Parameshwar, word Parameshwar. So this is also interesting that I always believe that Parameshwar is actually referring to the actually supreme person, the Paramatma, who's actually residing in everyone's heart. But here, Parameshwar is also translated as the Atma, because he's the owner of a body. Uh, but actually, Srila Prabhupada also says that the soul and super soul, they are equal in quality, but not in quantity. So as we know that actually the soul is a master of the body, but he's actually have the jurisdiction only limited to that body. While super soul, who's actually Paramatma, is conscious of all the bodies. So yeah, so this is what I understood by studying this verse. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Smarpan Krishna Prabhu for organizing this class and giving us this chance and guiding us, training us. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Shila Gurudev ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai. And thank you, His Grace Shital Prabhu, for sharing your nice realization on this verse. What I could understand few points from your realization that yeah, you mentioned about how important is the bona fide association is, because a lot of people are in ignorance. They don't know this sublime knowledge, and 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 who is in the real knowledge. He's, and you mentioned the verse Pandita Samadarshina. So he sees equal, not that equally outside like bodies. Obviously, all the bodies are different, but Samadarshina, Sama is, he sees Krishna, part of Krishna everywhere. So yeah, you mentioned very nice points, Prabhuji, for your realization. Thank you very much for your realization. So I recite the verse. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyat sava vinashyantam yaha pashyati sa pashyati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So, the Prabhupada are explaining first here that what is actual knowledge, the three things that who can see the body, the spirit soul, and the super soul, and what is ignorance, who thinks when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. This knowledge the Lord is speaking from beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, that spirit soul is not slain when the body is slain. But now the Lord is explaining more that soul and super soul exist in the body, and both are eternal and not getting destroyed when body is destroyed. Srila Prabhupada are saying that those who are not associated with the soul's friend are ignorant. Soul's friend is super soul. And when we associate and paying attention to super soul, then we are realizing this actual knowledge. Otherwise, we are in ignorance. Another point on association of soul's friend is that super soul is Krishna, and to associate with Krishna, we require to associate with his instructions in Bhagavad Gita. And for practical implementation, we require to associate with his pure devotees who are already doing it and who are associating with the Lord. So we will get this perfect knowledge when we are associating with the pure devotees of the Lord. And second point here is in the purport that Srila Prabhupada are explaining that the individual soul is called Parmeshwara sometimes. As Shittal Prabhu also mentioned this point, that we know that Parmeshwar is super soul, but why this translated individuals here is individual soul? Because Mayavadis and others like to believe that soul is the supreme and we merge into the supreme and we become supreme. So the supreme, the spirit soul is the supreme, but because of Maya not realizing this fact, and once Maya is not there, by practicing some processes of meditation or yoga, then he becomes the supreme Bhagwan. So that is why we need to associate with pure devotees of the Lord to avoid this confusion and ignorance. Srila Prabhupada are saying that in either case, whether Parmeshwar is soul or super soul, both continues to exist. Even body is destroyed. Even when body is destroyed. So this who can see, actually see what is happening. The word is in this verse are yaha pashyati sapashyati. That is used. So anyone sees like this, actually sees. So this means the way we see things and others will change, or our point of view of looking things at things will change. Situations will change when we are in actual knowledge. Nothing physically will change, like we won't appear something else. We will remain like that, but we receive special vision, and that is the vision of the knowledge. So, so this is a different angle of looking things that we will come to. So this is the knowledge of Akshetra, Kshetragya, and the super soul. So yeah, these are the points that I have realized from this verse, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Ambrish Prabhu, Our Grace Purnipadma Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu. First of all, I want to say sorry that I could not share my realizations, and I'll probably share part of the reason why it was happening and what kept me like that. But before we talk about this, I'd like to quickly share some realization. I'm still in trouble mode, and we had all sorts of drama in India, which you can imagine, like that Indigo drama just started, and we're there. Fortunately, we are here. Anyway, the verse we are studying here, Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tisthanantam Parameswaram Vinashyastasva Avinashyantam Yah Pasyati Sa Pasyati Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tisthanantam Parameshwaram Vinasastasva Avinasyantam Yah Pasyati Sa Pasyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understand that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So when I was preparing for this, so in chapter 2, Krishna talks about soul not getting destroyed. The super soul topic was not there. And he very nicely covers about soul. But at chapter 13, the super soul comes because Krishna is talking about much bigger aspects here about the Sangha philosophy, and he's touching the nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness. So I think this will be concluded as we progress in this chapter. And the first few lines which Prabhupada writes in the purport is anyone who by a good association can see three things combined together: the body, the proprietor of the body or individual soul, and the friend of the individual soul is actually knowledge. Unless one has the association of a real knower of spiritual subjects, one cannot see these three things. Those who do not have such association are ignorant. They simply see the body and they think that when the body is destroyed, everything is finished. So this is few lines which I would like to focus. Devotees are very nicely covered. And it precisely talks about what does we see actually sees. So what actually we see? Number one, these things can be seen and understood only by association. That's what Prabhupada is right. But whose association? So, okay, this is the process. This is part of the discussion which Krishna is having, not information which is giving to Arjuna about this entire thing. And it very say, I probably try to give relation to the previous verse, which 6 or 7 I've missed out, if time permits. Not today. And so I was reading those things. It's very systematic. Krishna is talking about. My focus was what actually we see, what actually happens with association. Right? And that's why we come together on any Wednesday. That's why we can come together on Sundays. We spend time. We all have a difficult life. We all struggling with the material world. We all have a challenge. But this association, we get that honey, That's why we are here. And it's not what we know or what we understand, because the knowledge is same. This knowledge is same for everyone. The instruction is same. The actual challenge or actual realization is how do we apply this knowledge? How do we implement this knowledge? And that's where all the differences start happening among the devotees also. Because we all start focusing, this is right, that is right, this is not right, you do this way, you do that way. But I think that's also part of some kind of Krishna's energies. That's not what we're discussing. I'm just trying to understand that what actually we see and how do we see. So we all need to focus on how we do things and how we do it. And I have briefly listened to all the discussions you devotees had, and also in Sunday's classes, not all of them, but I have been trying to catch up. And in the same way, I've also done some research, and I found similar kind of discussion online, which Amrish Prabhu has been talking about. Same sentence and same word and same kind of thing. So again, how we do it is very important, and what we want out of this. Yeah, I remember last we used to discuss that we have to be MBO, management by objective. So my focus that why the mood of the discussions have changed. It's not what happening, it's why this is happening. And if we do that, why this is happening, then we understand the real thing. And when we understand the real thing, then our engagement in this, our whatever we are doing actually improves. And then we really enjoy it. But we need to know why we are doing it. Unless we know why we are doing it, I think it's my realization that we are wasting our time. The other thing is, I'll probably share one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I've been reading this for some time, and I wanted to share this. Where similar kind of discussion that what happens to devotees. And the first first verse of chapter 10 in Adi Lila, where the chapter is the trunk, branches, and sub-branches of the Chaitanya trees. So this is basically all those devotees who were connected to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a different way, different time, different places. I'm still trying to figure out, and the pastime that is beyond my capacity. But the first verse probably relate to this, where we talk about the engagement of devotees and how devotees feel. I'm still looking for that nectar. I'm still not getting it. But I'll share this verse. Sri Chaitanya Padam Bhoja Madhupebhyo Nama Namaha Kathanchit Ashrayadisham Swapitad Gandha Bhag Bhavet. Sorry, Prabhu, if my effective is wrong, but this is a Sanskrit word, so I kept it that way. And translation. Let me repeatedly offer my respectful obeisance unto the bee-like devotees who always taste the honey of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If even a doggish non-devotee somehow takes shelter of such devotees, he enjoys the aroma of the lotus flower. And this is what I was coming to. This is what a devotee can see. They get nectar when they read scriptures. They straightway, I remember Maharaj would say that one verse is enough for you to go back to Godhead. You don't need to do PhD. And similarly here. So if even a doggish non-devotee somehow takes shelter of such devotees, he enjoys the aroma of the lotus flower. That area. So, and the lotus flower, the bee-like devotees. So I'm sorry to say, but I will still see those devotees, maybe those bee-like devotees, no, who always taste the honey of the lotus feet. Okay, we may dance together, we may live together, we may do activities together, but if this is the situation, bee-like devotees, and unless we experience this, unless we see this, we cannot understand. Then only we feel the aroma, and that's what devotees can see. I have seen only, I don't know, I may be wrong, that fighting devotees. I have not seen devotees who are together. They have always some difference for whatever reason. And so the purpose of this, all this chapter 13 and verse 28 is that we actually see the things as they are. Yeah, by understanding soul and super soul are different. And the other realization is that manifestation of our the intensity of our devotional activity happening. There are many things which we can share. Is that how much service we are able to do? Yeah, how much we can actually spend time doing service in a proper mood, not mentally concocted mood. So that's very important. And once we see things as they are, then things automatically happen. Then things will fall in place. That's my materialistic way of sharing my realization. And one more thing. So Prabhuji, before I close, I was in Nagpur for about 21 days, and we had a program almost every day. Devotees will come to my place. We have taken a big flat, where entire flat was like a community hall, and then we have a kirtan and all those things. And then that's how I come across, and that's why I want to talk to you without really understanding that that there was some other discussion happening. I wrote some message that I have some question. And I met some new devotees also, and I started doing some classes, and which I will share with you separately, which was from 9:30 to 11 p.m. after they've gone back. So I've got a lot to share, Babu, whenever we get time. And but I really understood that how hard your job is when you are trying to run an organization. It's bits and pieces all over the place, and people with different realization, people with different mindset, people with different background, and trying to bring them together. It's a job to do, Prabhu. It's a job to do. And thank you for doing all that for such a long time. And that's my lesson. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarthan Krishna Prabhuji for giving us this platform and training us to share our realizations. Thank you to all the devotees who have shared very nice, elaborate realizations. I'll just recite the verse first. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyasva avinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So, as this chapter is called Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness, so we can see how the questions asked by Arjuna goes there, and then Krishna is answering on them so perfectly here. So there were questions about which Arjuna asked about the Prakriti, nature, Purusha, enjoyer, Kshetram, the field, Kshetragya, the knower of the field, Jnanam, knowledge, and Gyam, the object of the knowledge. Now, we can see here that how Krishna says that Samam Sarveshu Bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram. And that super soul is accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and how the person who is realized or who is the Pandita, as Shital Prabhu has already shared the verse Pandita Samdarshana Vidya Vinay Sampanne verse. So the one who is Pandita, the one who is wise, the one who has, the devotee who has received the Jnana Chakshu, eyes of knowledge, can actually see and understand what is the body, what is the soul, and what is the super soul, the differences between them and the connection between them as well. So super soul, which is always accompanying the soul, because soul doesn't have, he can't move with his own on its own without the help of super soul. So super soul is always accompanying the soul, and how the super soul does not leave the soul even for a moment in all the bodies. And that is the greatest thing, because he is the Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is sitting in the heart, and then also the Updrishta Anumanta. He is the overseer, and the he is also permitting the soul what to do and what not to do. But what soul, the person who is listening to the super soul or not, it's up to him. For the normal person, the body is all in all, because that is the thing which the normal person can see with his eyes. But that is on the surface level. When one goes deeper in the knowledge, and he receives the knowledge here, that what is body, what is the soul, what is super soul, what is the relation between the soul, super soul, and the body, then he actually is seeing, and he starts understanding that what is the reality of our body, what is the reality of the soul, what is the reality of the super soul. I have realized that when we read all this, when we started learning about this knowledge about the soul and super soul and the body, Kshetra, Kshetragya and Jnanam. That time it's like words, and as we go deeper into all the verses in this chapter and in the chapter 2 as well, slowly we start realizing that what is the difference, and we start actually seeing that even the dog has the soul, even the bee has the soul, even every living entity has the soul. But before that, it's just the body we always see. And at the present moment, I think general masses, they don't even bother about what is soul, what is super soul. They are happy with whatever they have. The body they want to enjoy. They want to live up to the full, because it's they're thinking that we get the life once only, we are not getting it again. But that's not true, because we are coming back again. And which body we get, it's also a mystery, because it depends on our karma. And as Srila Prabhupada has said here, those who do not, the importance of the association basically, and I think devotees have shared this, that the association is so important. If we get the good association of the devotees, we start realizing it, we start changing our habits, and we start basically seeing it, what is the best thing for us that we can do when we have got this human body. Otherwise it's just wasting of the time as a human being. When I was in India, I have seen, because I attended a marriage, and then there saw so many people came, but everyone was like a designation there. No one was like real person or something. This is IAS, this is DGM, this is director, this is that, this and that. Everyone was introduced like that. Nobody was like real person, that this is this person. So when I was thinking that how we live in this society is just by designations, and we don't see a person like he is a soul, or he is just a person, normal person. So I think it's very prominent in India at the moment. That's what I felt. I may be wrong, but that was the interaction, my interaction with other people there. So when we study the scriptures, we understand it, and then we start seeing the other people's behavior, what their traits are, and how they are differently behaving, and what is the reason behind it is just the nature, modes of nature. Everyone is actually affected by it. No one is spared. So that is the thing which I realized. The other thing is
Hello, Mataji, we can't hear you. Hare Krishna.
sorry, Prabhuji, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yes, Prabhuji. So so that was the designation part there. And then I remembered this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, verse 34. Gunadhikan mudam lipset, anukrosham gunadhamat, maitrim samanad anvichen, taper abhibhuyate. I remember this verse was very initially when we started going to Namahat. His Grace Amrish Prabhuji taught us this verse, and then I was just thinking that where everyone is actually living by designations, how beautifully Narad Muni has given us the nice 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 guideline here how one should behave actually. So every man, the translation is, every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. So if we just keep this in mind, this guideline, and so that is the, I realize this is the thing which gives you the samam sarveshu bhuteshu thing, the same the equal vision towards everyone actually, but realizing on which platform one is acting. So this is the take from this verse today for me. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Amrish Prabhuji. Thank you, Purnamata Devi Dashi Mataji and Krishna Samarpan Das Krishna Prabhu for organizing this class. We are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 28. And thank you, devotees, for your nice realization. I could not completely concentrate, but I will definitely listen later on and I'll give my realization now. So, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 28. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram Vinashatsva Vinashantam Ye Pashyati Cha Pashyati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul is ever destroyed actually sees. So my realization is Prabhupada in this verse is teaching us like the topmost vision of the self-realized person. The super soul, that is Parmeshwar, is seated in every living being and he is not divided, he is one and the same in all bodies. Wise person does not see merely the outward body but the equal presence of the God inside every being. When someone actually realizes this verse, he cannot harm any creatures, as even a small animal or insect is respected because Krishna is there. The devotee becomes naturally non-invasive, gentle and compassionate towards all living beings. Prabhupada clarifies here that though the bodies are different like human, animal, demigod, trees, but Kshatrajna, the soul, is the same quality. And Paramatma is the same Supreme Lord in all. Therefore, equality is a spiritual but not material. So this, Srila Prabhupada says that this vision you cannot learn artificially, but it comes from the realization of the soul and super soul. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, verse 29, Sarvabhutastatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshana. Translation: a true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this verse in purport that Krishna consciousness yogi is perfect because he sees Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, situated in everyone's heart as Super Soul. The Lord in his Paramatma feature is situated within both the heart of the dog and that of even Brahman. The perfect yogi knows that the Lord is eternally transcendental and is not materially affected by the presence of either dog or human being or Brahman. So that is the supreme neutrality of the Lord. The individual soul is also situated in the individual heart, but he is not present in everybody's heart, in all hearts. And that is the distinction between the individual soul and the super soul. So one who is not factually in the practice of yoga cannot see as clearly as a Krishna conscious person can see Krishna in the heart of both the believer and the non-believer. So a person sees Paramatma in all beings, becomes free from all the sinful reactions. That's Srila Prabhupada explained in another lecture. And also Srila Prabhupada said that the awareness of this elevates individual toward the supreme truth. If one actually see Krishna, what's my realization is that if one see the Krishna in everyone's heart, he will treat everyone properly. You will not cheat anyone or harm anyone or disrespect anyone. And if we practice this one, the mind becomes purified. Such a person gradually becomes fit to return to Krishna. That's what Srila Prabhupada says in one of his lecture. So this is my realization, short realization. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your wonderful realizations. So I think these points we have covered many times in our different lectures over a period of long time. There's nothing much for me to say. If you have any questions, if anyone has any questions we discussed, then we can discuss it now. Hare Krishna. Okay, then we can conclude today's discussion, Bhagavad Gita discussion. And Avinash Prabhu, you can, the questions that you want to share with me, talk to me. We can do it on this Saturday when we meet for Rath Yatra. Why should I do researching for this person? There is enough time. Otherwise, we can talk privately also as you wish. No problem.
Okay, bro. Yeah. Lots happening, bro. So I'll talk to you, bro. Yeah.
Okay. Chalo. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai.
Yeah.
Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Jai.
Yeah.
Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai.
Jai.
Yeah.
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Word to
Yeah.
word synonyms, translations and purports by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Yeah.
Jai.
Shri Himjai God Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bol. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna,
Prabhuji. Hare
Guruji. Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.